Hey, beautiful people. So today we're going to be talking about how cultivating a little bit of patience and how to do that is self-love, actually. How is that? How can that be? I'm going to talk all about that today. It's season 6 on stress therapy tips and tricks that this psychotherapist wants you to know. So relax and settle in and listen up because your stress therapy session is about to begin right now. Hey, beautiful people, it's time for some stress therapy, a podcast about how to meditate and get better at stress for people living in the real world. Finally, a place to park my 25 plus years of experience of working as a psychotherapist in the mental health field. And now your host, me, the stress therapist, Cheri Flake. Okay, before we get into the thick of it, we're going to take a teensy tiny break. Be right back. Hey, beautiful people. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about patience, which I know can be kind of difficult, especially in this time of distraction and, hyperactivity and not being able to focus. And basically, we're all really becoming very adept at being distracted because we keep looking at our phones and we're actually practicing that and teaching our brains how to be distracted. And I would like to just mention today, and there's a million things I could say about this. I was preparing for this podcast today. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could go on and on and on. So I'm going to try to keep it relatively short so you can take it in small pieces. But the idea is this. If you can practice all day long being distracted on your phone, which is and our computers and everything's dinging and ringing and taking away our attention, and because we practice that by doing that all day long, that's why it's really important to meditate, right? Because then we're actually practicing being focused, actually practicing learning how to concentrate. But patience requires sort of ignoring this impulsivity that comes with being distracted, that comes with looking at our phones, that comes with doing a million things at once and, trying to multitask and all of this. The concept of being patient is actually just sitting with something, an emotion, a person, a thought, the desire to want to act on something, and just sitting with it and not acting, not speaking, not doing. And actually, it does so much for your mental health when you can make this decision to not just quickly pick up the phone and tell someone off or quickly tell someone that they're wrong or, to constantly be moving to the next thing. There is this desire to keep moving and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. But what if the place you're trying to go, you're already there? You've already arrived. You're already home. If you can sit with the idea that you would like to tell someone off, that you would like to prove that you're right, if you just sit with it, you open up opportunities that otherwise would not be there because you acted in an impulsive way. So before I was a regular meditator, I was the epitome of impulsivity. Okay. I would be really mad at my guitar player and I'll pick it up the phone and I would just call her and tell her she's wrong or whatever. Or I'll be really mad at the promoter or the club owner or the booker or whatever. I would be really mad and do whatever. Right. And I never really took the time to sit with emotions. Now, this is really cool. The chick who wrote Untangled, I think it's Untangled, the book about how to deal with your teenagers, which I highly, highly recommend. Okay. I read so many self-help books because I'm a therapist and I kind of have to, but this one was personal, man. I got a preteen and a teenager at home and they are throwing me for a loop. Every other problem, I was able to just buy a book, figure it out, sort of take a bunch of people's advice and try things out. And, after about a couple months, whatever problem it was was either resolved because of age or because I was actually able to figure out a way to deal with it. Teenagedom, if you have not come into this yet, whoa. I mean, it's a whole other animal. But this chick's book is magical. It's the only self-help book that I really couldn't put down. And she just came out with another book. I don't know what the name of it is, but I'll throw it in the show notes and figure it out. And she says, she really lays it down for us. She says, Mental health is not having positive emotions all the time. She was quoted in the New York Times, and I don't have the quote right here, but I can, again, throw it in the show notes. But her basic message was mental health is not having positive, sweet reactions and thoughts and moods all the time. That regardless of whether or not your emotions or thoughts are negative or not, it's what you do with those thoughts and emotions, right? And so it's perfectly acceptable to be sad when something sad happens, to be angry when something that angers you happens. But how do you get through it? And I used to tell my parents when I was seeing teenage clients, the only way out of this is through it, right? We cannot give teenagers Xanax so they have an easier time in high school, right? Like they got to get through it. And then they realize that they got through it. They did it. You're amazing. And once you do that, you have all this new confidence and you have the ability to feel those emotions again, and you have the ability to handle them well again. And being patient with yourself and with other people is an excellent practice. So the next time you're like, that's it. I can't, this is me. I can't stand it. And I'm so mad and I'm going to tell that. Rather than talking about it, rather than even calling up your friend to verbalize about it, sit with it, right? This is why people sleep on things. It looks different after you've slept on it. It looks different after you've let it simmer with you a little bit. You're able to see it from better sides. And you're not just fired up emotionally and wanting to prove your point. Because really, I mean, again, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I mean, feeling right is magical. Feels wonderful. We all love to be right because I'm always right. But that joy of being right only lasts for this short amount of time. And actually being happy and thinking it through and having some patience with it, that kind of patience with yourself brings you so much more opportunity in your relationships, in dealing with the same types of issues again, in handling any new emotion or person, or just living in a workspace, or dealing with teenagers, right? Just taking a breath. We're going to take a teensy tiny break. Be right back. So just decide now that I'm going to love myself a little bit the next time that I feel impulsive and I want to just blare it out or jump to the next thing or say what I think. You can still say what you think. You can still get angry. You can still do whatever you want, but you've taken the time to take a deep breath and think it over. One of my great teachers on this earth, his name is Paul Olander. He was recently on one of our retreats, and he has a couple of testimonials on my website because he had a magical time, and I'm really grateful for his input because he's one of my favorite people on this earth. And he taught me when he was my boss at the hospital here, and I was working for him on his psychiatric unit. He taught me the 3 gates. He was like, before you say anything to anyone, you might ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? True, necessary, kind. And listen, you might answer no to all those things and still say exactly what you were going to say, but I will tell you, you will say it differently. You will have thought it through in a different way. And then that relationship isn't unrepairable, right? Because I teach my kids, like, words are like toothpaste, man. Like, once it's out, you cannot get it back in the tube. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's out there. You said it. It's there. And it's going to be messy. Even if you clean it up as best you can, it still is out there somewhere. You cannot take it back. You cannot get it back into that tube. And so you really want to make sure that you've given yourself a little bit of patience. You've paused. And in the wise words of Cindy Dollar, I will tell you, she is the best yoga teacher in the world. And she's going to be at both my retreats this summer and fall. You must join us. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. If you want to see the testimonials, you can go to my website, ilovetherapy.com, where people rave about her. But in the wise words of Cindy Dollar, take a deep breath and relax your shoulders. And the only thing I would add to that is, and then speak, and then give your opinion. And so the bottom line is, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Do whatever you need to do. Count to 3, count to 10, turn around in a circle, walk away, walk around the block, do whatever you need to do to give yourself the little bit of patience, the moment to yourself to look at it a little more deeply without fired up emotion, and then act, speak, do, be, whatever it is. And your life will be so much better for giving it some thought. Then you're sort of like this thoughtful, patient person rather than an impulsive, fiery person, which is a lot more like me. And I can tell you from experience, it's not always good to just say exactly what you think. Some people appreciate that. I'm from the Midwest. I live in the South. People down here do not tell you what they think. You cannot even beat it out of them because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They're so sweet and nice. To me, when I first moved here, I found that to be difficult because I've mentioned before, I've lived with a family that we just said whatever. If you asked me if I was mad, I would tell you. If you want to know how I feel, you can just ask me. I will just tell you, which is infuriating for some people and is lovely for other people. But I will tell you this, I still wear my emotions on my sleeve. I still say exactly what I think, but I take a little longer to do it and I take a pause to do it. And it has served me so well. I have burned bridges. I have lost friends. I have really handled situations poorly because of this impulsivity. And the more that you practice taking a pause first, the better you're going to be at it. Remember, this is like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you some of the things that I have done. I mean, I've called up and flown off the handle so many times, and it's never served me. No one ever says, I'm so glad that I told that person to F off. I'm so glad. No one feels good about that in the end, man. Even if you were right, because we are one love and no one is excluded from one love. Everybody is a part of it. But if you treat someone unkindly and you're harsh with your words and you just squirt out all those words out of that toothpaste, there's no way that you're not going to regret it. And if you give it a little bit of thought and you pause, you still get to say exactly what you mean, but you do it in a way that you yourself would want to hear it. And that is the name of the game. And that is self-love, because any love that you give anyone else, it's coming right at you, right back at you, because we are one love. So let's meditate together now. Okay, well, let's find a comfortable sitting position to begin practicing self-love, patience, by giving yourself this gift of quiet, of unitasking, only doing one thing, and bring your whole self into this moment and this time, knowing that this is all you're supposed to be doing. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. And that you're giving yourself the gift of focus, of quiet, taking a breath and noticing your breaths. Because when we practice being quiet, being calm, and allowing ourselves to settle in to this tranquility, our state that we practice, just like if we were practicing a chord on a guitar, will become a trait. What fires together, wires together. So we're going to put that work in now. If we practice patience with ourselves, this will become a trait. Just like any other thing you've ever practiced. It just becomes a part of how you roll, who you are, what you do. So take a moment to make your body as comfortable as it can in a sitting up position. Allow yourself to make micro adjustments where your body is not relaxed. Breathing into that space on your inhale with laser focus, and then letting go any tension in your body in that space with your exhale. Breathing in attention and focus. Breathing out relaxation and letting go. When your mind starts to wander, remind yourself this is the only thing you're doing right now. This is where your focus goes. This is how you hone focus, concentration skills. Give yourself this gift by simply breathing and begin to notice your breath and say to yourself, breathe in, breathe out. There's no rush to get to either in breath or out breath. Just simply stating when you're breathing in, say to yourself, breathing in. When you're breathing out, simply breathe out. And when you notice your mind beginning to wander, and it will, just gently bring it back. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in, breathe out. I'll be back in a few minutes to guide you out. Take these moments alone with your beautiful self to honor your lovely breath that comes and goes, that you can always count on it. It's there bringing you everything you need to live and thrive on this planet. Continue, breathe in, breathe out, and I'll be back in a few minutes to guide you out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Allow this little mantra to fall away from your awareness, knowing that you will still breathe without thinking about it, which is the magical thing about breath. Take a moment to be grateful and give thanks to the universe, God, Buddha, Allah, Susie, Patsy, the river, whatever you call it, for your beautiful breath that comes and goes, bringing you exactly the perfect atmospheric cocktail to survive on this beautiful planet in your beautiful life. And manipulate your breath now by letting it all go out of your lungs and 2 breaths out. And then take a long, slow, deep breath in your nose, letting it all go out of your mouth, allowing yourself to awaken and come back into this moment in your surrounding area, this room, and breathing in your nose, a long, slow, deep breath in, and letting it all go out of your mouth. And one last deep breath in your nose, fully awake and different and ready to go. Let it all go out of your mouth. And when you're ready, you can open your beautiful eyes. I so hope this was helpful for you and that you have another tool now to make yourself better in another really cool way. Everyone wants to be around someone who considers what they've said before they speak, or who honors their presence when they go to say something hard to them. And you can be that if you can pause before you act, if you can think it over, if you could take just one deep breath, hopefully 3 or 4, maybe the 3 gates, whatever, before you act. And it's just like a muscle. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. And you don't have to practice it if you meditate, because meditation actually, in a physiological way, inside of your prefrontal cortex, it thickens those threads that soothe that downstairs brain, like we've talked about, that part of yourself that gets all riled up with emotions and even feeling physically bad about something or anxious or worried. It does it without you having to do anything. All you do is put a little bit of money in your bank each day, which is a little bit of time, a little bit of effort with your meditation practice, and it will astound you. I mean, I never thought I had any kind of capacity for any kind of patience. And I do. I mean, I'm not perfect. Oh, I got a long way to go, but I'm working on it. And that little work, it shows itself. You're going to be so pleased to see it. You will see yourself change. And if you're a person who thinks you can't change, I'm telling you, that's not true. If it was true, I wouldn't have a job. No therapist would. And remember, what we're changing is this ego identity. We're not changing our beautiful, holy self that's connected to the omnipresence. It's just this ego identity, and it is malleable and it is changeable. And that's why people talk about big events in their life, changing them right away and always for the good, even if the event wasn't so good. I mean, you can change, absolutely. And if you want to jumpstart that change, come on a retreat with me. I'm telling you, it is amazing and transformative, and you will walk away with a new understanding on how to make meditation habitual. And you will be with people who want the same thing, who have the same questions, who wonder the same things about meditation. It's a lonely business, man. And if you don't come to mine, go on a retreat. It is amazing. I've never been to one and walked away and been like, oh, I'm exactly the same. Never. And I go to them all the time. And I really try to cater to my ideal client, my ideal audience, whoever is out there listening. If you like me, this is what it's like. And I'll tell you something. I'm not even the good part about the retreat. The best part about this retreat is my yoga teacher. She is absolutely amazing. I seriously think she's the best yoga teacher in the world. You can go to ilovetherapy.com and click on retreats. I have a beach retreat coming up in just 2 weeks. It's at the beautiful Jekyll Island, the resort. I got a sweet deal. It's about $200 a night right on the beach. You see the most amazing sunrises, and we're going to be meditating and doing yoga together in the most beautiful places on the island, and a lot of downtime on this one. You are really kind of on your own vacation and just occasionally coming down to commune with us while we meditate and do yoga, Iyengar yoga with the beautiful Cindy Dollar, who can do yoga with anyone on this earth. Believe me, I don't care what kind of physical ailment you have. This girl is up for the challenge. Nothing will shock her, and she can still get you to do yoga. And it is such a relief for people who thought that they couldn't hang, you know what I mean? Or have never done yoga before or whatever. She's the perfect teacher for you. And if you're an advanced practitioner, it still is like magical. I mean, I've been practicing for 23 years, and I get something out of Cindy's class every single time that I go. And I also have a retreat coming up in October. We have a few spots left for this one. I would love to have you. It's in the mountains. I'm not sure we're going to be doing a retreat there again. So I mean, take the bull by the horns on this one, because we might be end of an era here, but it's at this amazing retreat center. The food is farm to table. It's all vegetarian. And Christina Law, who does the personal chef services, gives it an Ayurvedic slant. So it's I mean, the food alone is worth all the money, but it's a blast. And we are going to be really doing a deep dive. I'm going to teach you tons and tons of ways to meditate. And then we're going to take whatever your comfort zone is, whatever your meditation that brings you the most peace and comes the most naturally to you, making it really accessible. And the rest of the weekend is focused on making the practice habitual. So you're doing it every day. It's a lifelong goal. And you get to reap those benefits of meditation that you can't even guess what they are, right? If you're not doing them every day, right? So come on retreat with me. Again, that's ilovetherapy.com. I cannot wait to have you. It means the whole world to me. It's my very favorite thing to do. And I love going on retreats. And I'm going to be bringing my dog to the beach. It's a dog-friendly island. Can you even believe that? It's the coolest. All right. So I will see you there. Practice a little patience. Take a deep breath. Decide if you want to come, and come with me. Okay? I can't wait. Have a lovely, lovely day. Before I go, I want to tell you about another ethereal network of shows podcast that I think you're going to love.
Ever wanted to astral project?
Speak to a loved one who's passed.
Heal people with just the touch of your hand?
Well, you won't learn how to do that on this podcast, but you will hear from those that can.
The Skeptic Metaphysicians podcast is not your typical dry and boring metaphysics show. It's a fun exploration of metaphysics, spiritual awakening tools, modalities, and personalities that's as entertaining as it is informational.
Join hundreds of like-minded souls who are growing and expanding their consciousness at skepticmetaphysician.com.
Discover the Skeptic Metaphysicians,
your new metaphysical obsession.
How y'all feeling after that stress therapy session? Good? Awesome! Check out the show notes to connect with me, the stress therapist, on social media at The Stress Therapist on Instagram and at Stress Therapy on Twitter. You can always go to ilovetherapy.com to find out about meditation and yoga retreats and other offerings that I have there. If you live in Georgia and you're ready to be one of my clients, go to my website to find out how you can sign up for a free face-to-face consultation with me. At the very least, jump on my mailer so you don't stress or miss one thing. Until next time, have a lovely, lovely day.